News, Riley. What are we talking about?
All right, we got an exclusive. Let's start with this here because we have some comic book sweaties in the room with us.
Oh, boy.
An exclusive from our own Jeff Snyder here at Collider. Up-and-coming actress Jamie Lawson, who recently graduated from Juilliard. She has landed a notable role alongside Robert Pattinson in The Batman. We don't know what that notable role is, but I think everybody might have some ideas.
What if she's from Juilliard? What if she's a singer and The Batman is a musical? I would be so into that.
All right.
Yes.
Darina?
Just saying.
I think you're onto something.
Yeah.
So we don't know exactly what it is that she's going to be, the part she's going to play, but
What do you guys think?
This movie has been, just from the little that I've heard about it, has been heading down the path of the most comic book accurate adaptation of Batman in a movie.
Ooh.
I think Matt Reeves...
Say more.
I think Matt Reeves really loves and gets the comic bookiness of Batman, and I love the Christopher Nolan movies, and I think the Christopher Nolan movies were an attempt to distance, to be like, this will
This is our realistic
exceed.
Batman.
This will transcend the genre, whereas Matt Reeves is like, but I like Clayface, and I like Killer Croc, and I like Poison Ivy, and I like Mr. Freeze, and I like these really outlandish comic book concepts.
Yeah.
And one of those is the Bat Family. And I think, he knows what he's got with an incredible Commissioner Gordon, who is played by Jeffrey Wright, who's black, if you didn't know. And I think...
What?
And I
Black
think
Commissioner
that,
Gordon?
Wait a minute.
And I loved the teases to that in the Christopher Nolan
Do you think
movies.
she's Barbara?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
That's what everyone
Let me
thinks.
tell you why.
100%.
Let me tell you why. Because when you do that Batman timeline, when you do that Batman, you crunch the numbers and you go, all right, this dude is 30. Minimum, maybe 25, maybe 35 before he's like Batman. At what point does Robin enter the picture? And remember, he's got to be Nightwing at some point. He's got to be a kid, but not a child.
exactly.
So you're like, is he 12? Is he 15? Is he 16? And then he adopts him as his ward. So then a couple years later, when he's like 19, he's like, Bruce, I'm done. I'm going to be Nightwing. Then you've got Batgirl, Barbara Gordon in the mix, and she has to be Batgirl for all these characters are these characters for years, and then she becomes Oracle. And then you've got like Cassandra Cain Batgirl, and then you've got oh my God, Jason Todd Robin goes into Tim Drake Robin. All that sort of like Batman math of like, and the whole time,
years that would take.
I think it's actually Bat math.
The Bat math of
Yes.
Bruce Wayne is Batman this whole time.
And that, those
and he
kids
doesn't
have to
retire
die or move on.
Seriously, all of this stuff happens that I loved the tease in the Dark Knight trilogy where what's his name who played Gordon? Oh my God, Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman.
He had a family, and it was like, cool, is that his kid? And we're looking in the house, we're like, oh my God, was one of those kids going to be Batgirl?
The kid
but
from
it was
Game of Thrones is like...
But it was like this. He had like a son, and then he had like maybe an infant daughter, and you're thinking, man, it's going to take 15 years before she can put on a cowl. Like, what's this math, Christopher Nolan? What are you doing?
Well,
Because he didn't care. He was never going to do that.
Right.
And I think that really quick. Sorry to interrupt, but I think the Nolan movies were more so just a completely different. Type of Batman that we've seen, right? Which is cool because sometimes comic books don't translate. It's okay if they don't translate directly to film.
You gotta know what to leave on the page,
right? We've seen some superhero movies where you do see these beautiful, almost the scenes where they do look like comic books, right? But the cool thing, sometimes I just really love seeing somebody's different adaptation about a universe that I haven't seen.
One of my favorite.
But
things,
it is cool that we're coming back to that now.
Just to say, I think this actress, her age, her look, her age, especially being like early years of college, possibly, or late years of high school, is the perfect age to introduce. Okay, now Batman's going to start becoming active because then Barbara Gordon, couple months into that, goes, wait, well, maybe I can. And then you have the beginnings of that. Matt Reeves, coming off of the Apes movies, I think, knows how to do the balance of very serious, great drama mixed with the ridiculousness and outlandishness of the Apes franchise. And he really knew how to play with that. So I think he's going to be able to do that with you got to turn your head and cough when you're handling that franchises, when you're handling the mythology. The ridiculousness.
You gotta mind the Robins.
It's really cool.
I think
Somebody makes the
pluck
gif of
that.
There it is.
And you'll be able to have your, I think Matt Reeves has what is needed.
One of my favorite things about Batman is that since he's the eye line for so much of the DC universe, he's us. He's the most human. He's the character that is righting the wrongs, and he's also kind of like. he's making choices we all think we'd make. He's making all the decisions that we want to think we'd do in that scenario. So one of the strengths I think of the character is that the director has such a stronger voice because his voice is your voice, as opposed to like Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man has extraordinary abilities. Even though he's the underdog of the MCU, he's still, I'll never know what it's like to climb a wall, unfortunately.
Of course.
But I can imagine what it's like to have $1 billion and punch like a homeless, not homeless, a home
sometimes
wrecker,
homeless.
sometimes homeless, but like a home burglar. There's the word.
Yeah.
Home invader. Like I can imagine that scenario easier. So I think a director like Chris Nolan, like to me, those Dark Knight movies are Christopher Nolan's Batman.
Yes.
And to me, Zack Snyder's Batman. And those
Tim Burton's
really
Batman.
tie in more than a lot of superheroes. So I'm really excited that the cast of this, I can have all of the assumptions I want, but I have no idea what Matt Reeves' comic experience is like. Kind of like what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
You're so in the world, you assume it's yours.
Yeah.
But Matt Reeves, I only know, I've loved all of his movies. I only know that I could not be more excited for Colin Farrell as Penguin. And I know that like
And Paul Dano's Riddler. I'm dying to see that.
in Bruges.
Yes.
Colin Farrell's eyebrows should have won an Academy Award in Bruges. Just his eyebrows.
Which, by the way, somebody corrected me because I also called it in Bruges, but it's actually, how do you say it properly? Do you guys know?
In Brugges.
In Brugges?
Yes.
Is that real?
Yes.
For reals?
It is in Brugges.
Okay, 'cause
so
they
you
say
guys
it in
need
the
to say
movie.
it that way.
They do
going
say
forward.
in Bruges.
Wow.
Well, no, I just read stuff in Spanish. I was like, oh, in Bruges, right? But,
In Bruges.
But in Bruges.
In Brugges.
Brugges.
In that film set in
Bruges.
Belgium,
Guys,
the eyebrows.
stop. I'm messing with you. That's not
It's
how you
definitely
say
Bruges.
God damn it, Hector, you
So
got
please don't
me.
do it.
I was going.
I
I
can't.
figured you were.
I was
so
like,
I just
that
wanted to
sounds-
lean
No.
into it. Oh, in Brugges.
God damn it,
No,
Hector.
sorry.
Good one.
Sorry.
Good one.
I think as
You're
much fun,
welcome back on the
in
show.
Bruges.
As much
Yeah.
fun as it is to imagine these characters, even when we find out if she is Batgirl or Batwoman or not, I think it's really going to be really interesting to see what a brand new Batman is, especially since it's so recent we had one, and this is definitely a different take. I think Pattinson's fantastic. I've been
Yes.
excited for Pattinson. We've talked about it every time I see you.
Yes.
But I definitely, this is the most anticipated comic book movie for me, coming from a place of total blindness.
Right.
Because it's such a different take. It could be almost anything, and the amount of villains would have terrified me at any point until now.
Right. And it's also bizarre to think about, Batman was my favorite as a kid, but we've seen so many different iterations of him that I'm like, oh, like we're getting another Batman movie. Like when this was first announced, I was like, okay, I guess like at least Matt Reeves is cool. I like his stuff. But every casting choice has only gotten me more and more excited for this. Like I'm actually, it's now becoming like my new Joker in superhero like anticipation that I have for all these movies. So
And Juilliard, that's so cool. I love that it's an unknown that is clearly talented, and I love when these movies have the ability to cast your Colin Farrell, Paul Dano, Robert Pattinson, and then they give someone a chance to be a titan.
Yeah.
Like this girl is coming out of Juilliard, clearly talented, and now she gets to be a movie star from the jump.
that's pretty cool.
Good for her.
Yeah.